It's no secret that there's a ton of misconceptions about Batman's character that circulate on the internet. And more times than not, these misconceptions stem from a lack of knowledge on the character, like most misconceptions stem from in any context. That being said, there's a handful of Batman misconceptions that stand out the most to me and that rub me the wrong way the most. And with us getting a brand new Batman adaptation in live action, it's the perfect opportunity to showcase to general audiences that a lot of these misconceptions about Batman aren't true. So in this video, I'm going to be going over Batman misconceptions that, in my opinion, the DCU Batman has to address. But very quickly, before we get into this video, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe, and share. It would really mean a lot. And also hit the hype button if you have that feature available. Diving right into the nitty-gritty, the first misconception about Batman that really grinds my gears is this idea that Batman is a billionaire who does nothing to help the city outside of go out at night dressed up as a bat and beat up on criminals who are trying to make ends meet. Now, obviously, the people who are of this opinion are generally people who have only seen things like the Batman from 2022 or Christopher Nolan's takes on Batman. You could even throw in the older Batman films into the mix as well. Long story short, these people haven't read Batman comics, because if they did, they would know that this is completely and utterly untrue. And the reason why the DCU Batman needs to address this directly is because this will be probably the first time in live action that we actually see Batman do what he does in the comics for the city of Gotham, because in the comics, he is literally the backbone of the city. Not only does the Wayne Foundation support and fund many clinics and programs around Gotham City, the Wayne Foundation also allows the less fortunate to attend these clinics and programs freely. On top of this, Batman literally helps low-level criminals get entry-level jobs at Wayne Enterprises. And on top of that, one of the benefits of being an employee at Wayne Enterprises is that you get your entire tuition paid for, no matter what you have to pay. It's a free ride. And I know this next example isn't necessarily related to Gotham City, but Batman also takes it upon himself to fund the education of his fellow superheroes' children. Talk about a stand-up guy. Moving back over to things that he does for Gotham City directly, Wayne Enterprises also has a program that sponsors immigrants and allows them to become legal citizens. He also makes sure that all of his employees receive good wages for their work, and he builds affordable housing. The Wayne Foundation also has its own orphanage that is consistently upgraded with new science and arts programs so that the kids that attend this orphanage are receiving the best programs possible. Another thing that Batman also does that's really convenient is he will literally buy out a company that is mistreating its workers and then keep those same workers employed and give them better pay. He also rehires employees that were laid off by said companies before he purchased them. And last but certainly not least, Batman makes it his priority to cover all of the damage costs from all of his fights and battles that happen throughout Gotham City, whether it's related to Gotham villains or villains from out of town. Even natural disasters like the earthquake that destroyed Gotham and No Man's Land, Batman will literally just cover the cost of the collateral damage. So I'm hoping with James Gunn saying that corporations will definitely be playing a large role in the DCU, and Wayne Enterprises being one of those corporations, we get to see a Batman who is more involved as a philanthropist. The next misconception is solely the fault of the Nolan trilogy, and that is the idea that Lucius Fox is the only one who makes Batman's tech and that he relies on Lucius Fox for said technology. This, again, like the first misconception, couldn't be any further from the truth. Because if we looked at the source material, we know that Batman has told us that he's machined 99% of his gear and technology. And this makes sense considering that Batman is consistently regarded as the second smartest man on Earth, right behind Lex Luthor. This puts him above intellectuals like Mr. Terrific, Ted Kord, Blue Beetle, Ray Palmer, Professor Ivo, etc., etc. As far as Batman's intelligence feats and some of the things that he's built, he's literally built a device that nullifies Martian Manhunter's telekinesis. He's the man who created Brother Eye, which is essentially a super smart AI that was literally capable of creating pocket universes. He's also created technology that mimics the vibrational tendencies of DC speedsters. On top of this, he's also smart enough to create a device that can literally absorb the speed force from the Flash. He also quite literally built armors like the Justice Buster by himself, which is one of his contingency plans for the Justice League. Not to mention his actual contingency plans that we saw in the Tower of Babel storyline that he has for the Justice League. But on top of that, he's also stated by the World Forgers to be one of the greatest strategic minds in existence. And he's also created a device capable of chronovision, which is essentially a device that can detect localized time displacements. He's also also created his own teleporter, which is consistently the same teleportation technology that the Justice League used on things like the Watchtower, and he's done a whole bunch of other crazy things that it would take me entirely too long to explain in this video. That being said, it's apparent that Batman is intelligent, and the movies haven't even come remotely close to displaying the level of intelligence that I just went over in that last 2 minutes or so. And I just want to clarify, this isn't me trying to undervalue Lucius Fox by any stretch of the imagination, because he does help Batman, but he's more so helping Batman with the Wayne Enterprises side of things, because Batman is busy being Batman, so he needs someone to mass produce the technology that he uses for Wayne Tech, and that is the role that Lucius Fox fills. So sometimes there are moments where Batman may need an extra piece of equipment, and instead of making it himself, he'll just ask Lucius Fox to give it to him because of the fact that he mass manufactures them. So I'm hoping that in the DCU, this is another misconception that we see addressed, because we're already getting Lex Luthor doing things like create pocket dimensions and create teleportation systems. So I don't see any reason why Batman should be significantly less intelligent than Lex Luthor. He should be right there neck and neck with him and pretty much be able to replicate anything that Lex Luthor has already done. And hopefully this opens the eyes of the general audience again, because you see a lot of comparisons and comic discussions with Reed Richards or Dr. Doom or Tony Stark, and they get compared to Batman. And while you can have your opinion, you can believe that certain characters are smarter than others, some people just blatantly downplay Batman as if he doesn't stand a chance against those characters, and you could legitimately make the argument that he's smarter than those characters. So I'm really hoping that that changes. Moving on to misconception number 3, we need to stop pretending that Batman forces kids into crime fighting and that his Bat family are his soldiers. If we simply go down the line of all of Batman's sidekicks, it's easily explained why they're there in the first place. Starting with the first Robin, Dick Grayson, Batman literally witnessed Dick Grayson's parents get murdered in front of him, which is obviously meant to parallel the same tragic night that happened to Bruce when he was 8 years old. Because of this, Dick Grayson now had no father and no mother and needed someone to take him in. Rather than let Dick Grayson go through the system, Batman decided to take him in himself, because that is the good thing to do. The reason why Batman made Dick Grayson Robin is because Dick Grayson himself, very similar to Batman, vowed to stop the criminal who was responsible for the murder of his parents, and as a 10-year-old, he was literally going out at night in search of said criminal. So Batman thought it would be a very smart idea to, instead of letting Dick Grayson go out as a 10-year-old in the cold streets of Gotham to hunt down criminals, just take him under his own wing, because he was going to do it anyway. Look at it from Batman's perspective. This isn't your biological son at the time, and you've effectively just met this kid. He just lost his parents, which means that you can't really effectively discipline him as you would discipline your own child. And obviously him going out in the streets at night to hunt down criminals is a problem, but you can't just give him to the streets, because he's just going to continue to do the same thing. So what do you do in that situation as Batman, a literal vigilante who's already doing the same thing that the kid is trying to do? You just take him under the wing. It's that simple. Then you have Jason Todd, who was already orphaned and on the streets, and because of that became a criminal in his own right. And Batman, being the good person that he is, decided to again take this kid off of the streets so that he wouldn't grow to become a worse criminal later on down the line. As far as Barbara Gordon, she was also into crime fighting before even meeting Batman because of the role that her father plays in Gotham City. She then saved Batman from Killer Moth, and that's what led to Batman recruiting her as Batgirl. Again, another person who was literally going to fight crime in whichever way she saw fit anyway. And she's also not his child. Then you have Jean-Paul Valley-Azra, who was already a college graduate by the time that he came into the fold, and he himself was destined to fight crime because he was literally tied to the Order of St. Dumas from birth. Then you have Cassandra Cain, who was trained from birth to be a lethal assassin, and Batman saved her from that life. Next up is Damian Wayne, who is literally Batman's biological child, who again was raised to be an assassin by Batman's baby mother, Talia al Ghul. So again, he saved Damian from becoming a worse version of himself. And the same could be said for literally the rest of the other Bat family members. So going into 2026, I'm praying and hoping that we can stop the spread of this misinformation. Moving on to misconception number 4, and this is about the no-kill rule, which a lot of people seem to have their own takes on, which is completely fine. However, we have to stop pretending like Batman is the only character that has a no-kill rule, and we also have to stop pretending that the no-kill rule is ineffective, because it quite literally works and has rehabilitated a lot of Batman's Batman's villains over time. A perfect example of this would be someone like Harley Quinn, who has reformed in the comics and no longer works with the Joker and sometimes even helps Batman. If Batman would have simply killed her in the past, she would not have the ability to change her actions for the better and be a greater addition to humanity. Batman has also rehabilitated the likes of Killer Croc in the past, and he's also been utilized as a force for good with teams like the Suicide Squad. And even though Killer Croc has mental relapses sometimes, as seen in Batman's current run written by Matt Fraction, Batman is still there to comfort Killer Croc and not kill him because he knows that there's potential in these characters. Clayface is also another really good example because Batman also reformed him so much that he joined the Bat family for a certain amount of time and helped. That being said, Batman is not the only superhero that has a no-kill rule, so we need to stop holding him to a higher standard than other characters. Spider-Man and Superman also have no-kill rules, and their villains do really horrible things. In fact, I'd make the argument that Lex Luthor is more dangerous than Joker because not only does he want to rid humanity of its greatest hope, he can literally systemically affect civilization because he has power in the government as well as being a complete maniac. And now that I mentioned it, that reminds me, Lex Luthor also has reformed in the comics because of Superman's no-kill rule. So please, let's just stop it. Let's put it to bed. It works. It's effective. It's never going to go away because of the business aspect of things, because people always want to see popular villains, so just stop complaining about it. And that brings me to the last misconception about Batman, and this is a misconception that I've gone over time and time again, and that is this idea or notion that Batman is weak because of the fact that he's a regular human. This misconception again comes from people who have only seen the live action films that tend to ground Batman in reality. So when they see Batman in animated shows that are more comic accurate do things like one-shot Sinestro with a batarang, or stagger Darkseid with a kick, or use a martial art from the Tibetan monks to do something crazy, they just call it plot armor. However, if you read the source material, you know that it's explained to us that during Batman's training, a lot of the things that he's able to do is specifically because of his mastery over the martial arts and the mystical / fantastical elements of the martial arts in DC's universe. This isn't Batman having plot armor, this is DC having a power system like any other cartoon or fictional media that we have seen. The same way something like Jujutsu Kaisen has cursed energy, or Naruto has chakra, or Dragon Ball Z has ki control, DC martial artists also have chi / ki control, and that's why they're able to do some of the ridiculous techniques that they can do. Not to mention there's all types of alien martial arts that exist in the greater DC universe that characters like Batman and other martial artists on Earth have access to. As far as Batman's physicality and why he's able to withstand some of the attacks that he does is again because of the training that he undergoes in his path to becoming Batman. During this process, it's explained to us that Batman trains himself to the peak of human perfection. Obviously, in real life, the peak of human perfection wouldn't really be that impressive because it's real life. But in other fictional mediums like Baki or even Jujutsu Kaisen, once again, we could look at characters like Pickle and Toji who are superhuman because they have specific training or things that allow them to be enhanced to the peak of human capacity. Pickle is just a prehistoric man who had to battle against dinosaurs and all types of other large creatures, and that's why his genetics evolved him into what he is. Toji is a character who has a heavenly pact that allows him superhuman physicals in exchange for zero cursed energy, which is essentially something that all humans in JJK tend to have. So with all these fictional examples at our disposal, is it really that far-fetched to understand that Batman trained with masters who have access to ancient knowledge that gave him the ability to far supersede what is normally expected of a human? Like, it's genuinely one of the most consistent things that we've seen in fiction. Even in Dragon Ball Z, Krillin is a base human, but because of ki control, he basically operates like a superpowered being. Why can't Batman have techniques or ancient training that boost his physicals yet still keep him in the realm of human? So yes, people, when you see Batman do ridiculous things like pull down a helicopter or kick through a tree, which would require over 30 tons of force to do, or dodge gunfire at point blank range, dodge attacks that are moving at the speed of light, dodge other metahumans that have consistently been documented to be at the speed of light, it is simply because of the fact that Batman, again, is not a real character, and in this fictional universe, he has training that allows him to do said things, yet keep him in the bracket of human human tier, because humans in DC are not equal to humans in real life. Hopefully in the DCU, this misconception can also be addressed, and if you want to see me further explain the martial arts and how it should be adapted in the DCU, you can check out my last video. But again, ultimately, I hope the DCU treats these physical attributes of human characters as a power system and explains it in a way that makes the general audience understand, because it's very simple to explain that the training is what allows them to do that. If we look at popular human characters from Marvel like Captain America, who we see do superhuman feats all the time, the reason why he's able to do that obviously is because of the super soldier serum, but the super soldier serum took him from a scrawny human being to a peak human, which is what Batman is as well. So that's why Batman can do similar things to Captain America in the source material. This same level of grace should be applied to Batman in live action. The only difference is Batman did not have a super soldier serum. He achieved it through his own hard work. But that being said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Those are the misconceptions of Batman that I need the DCU Batman to directly address. James Gunn, if you see this video by any chance, please, I'm begging you, adapt these things into the DCU, because it will be a better universe because of it. And with that being said, that is going to wrap it up for this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also hit that hype button, and until next time, it's been your boy K the God.